Learning is the key to successful investing, and who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at L.E.A.R.N. Grow Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media platforms at Learn, Grow, Invest. Learning is the key to successful investing, and who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at L.E.A.R.N. Grow Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media platforms at Learn, Grow, Invest.
All right, so let's get started. This is an interesting week for sure in terms of the investing space. Now, before I get into the topic for today, I wanted to say I really think that this year is going to be, well, signs are pointing it to be a good year for investing, for investors, lots of opportunities, and just a general sentiment that I'm getting from whether it be the companies, whether it be the CEOs, whether it be different persons even in the finance space. It's shaping up to be an interesting year, and I think that we're going to have a lot of things to talk about each week for this year. I will say, though, congratulations to Fontana shareholders, those who might have been waiting to either break even. I remember Christopher, I think you're trying to break even. I think you should be by now. I don't know where it closed today, but you're making some progress there. And for everybody else, I think if you pay attention to how we talk about how you should think about investing, then you'll understand that there are certain stocks that will have a good year. There are some that you'll have to wait a little bit longer. And then there are others that should probably not even be getting consideration. So that's all I'll say. I know that was very coded. I apologize, but I have to be careful of what I say, and so I'll leave it there. So this is a night where you want to post any questions that you have. It's going to be a very short live, so post your questions early, because I'm going to be going through the articles pretty quickly, and then I'm going to go live over in our community group. So for those of you who are not signed up to our community, you want to do that like right now, because after I finish here, I'm going directly over to our community group. And so you can, I'll start the conversation here and we'll finish it over there. All right, so let me see if I'm able to do this right here. I'm going to try and stream with one screen today, which is gonna be weird, but I'm trying not to be doing this all evening. So let's see if it works. Okay, that looks like a plan. And so did it work? Ooh, okay, that looks like it works, but now I can't control the screen. Can I? Okay, so let's start with this first article, and I will go to the next one. So just some minor discrepancies from the two articles here. This one says 9 billion. I think this one says 10. I think this one is probably rounding. It doesn't really matter, right? Because when it comes close to the date, we'll see more details here. So this one is from the Observer, and I'll read one from the Gleaner as well. So it says here, the government of Jamaica is finalizing plans to divest its remaining 20% stake. So remaining means that's all they have left. A move expected to further broaden public ownership of critical infrastructure assets. So I'll pause there, right? We've been waiting for a couple of things. One, the sale of some infrastructure assets. There are a few quite persons are really anticipating the sale of a few. And there was mention last year of like, I guess, a fund to kind of bring infrastructure assets together, right? So I'm looking forward to that, or however that would look like. Hopefully it's not going to be, well, again, like that, I don't like to speculate, so we'll see, right? So at the JC conference this week, which was held, I think, Tuesday to Thursday of this week, the announcement was made. And this is why you go to the conference if you're able to, because usually you see some announcement, right? Something is going to be mentioned there that kind of hints at what's to come. Of course, things were announced last year that did not come to pass, but we will tackle that another time. So the government has facilitated public ownership of national assets via the stock exchange, and we are doing more. So very soon we will be divesting the remaining 20% of shareholding in TransJamaica through a public offer for sale. He was speaking Tuesday at the opening ceremony, and Angus Young from NCB Capital Markets, speaking on Wednesday, shared how much he believes the government could earn from the divestment, right? So I think what we can share today is that GOJ's intent on divesting their full 20%, which sits under NROC at this time. TGH is a publicly traded share, so it's a simple calculation, may run you about 9 billion, give or take, right? So we'll look at the top 10 in a little bit, and this is talking about, the IPO, and they raised 11 billion, and it was the largest one at the time, though we are expecting West Indies Petroleum to be bigger, but again, we'll see that when it comes. The TGH is a wholly owned subsidiary of NROC, which operates the East-West Toll Road under a concessionary agreement, giving it exclusive rights to manage and maintain the highway, right? Let's see what else. I think this is just more about the company itself. So I'm looking for anything that speaks to TJH directly. We'll look at the financials a little bit, right? So we've seen significant rise in traffic with an average of 70,000 vehicles daily and peaks of 100,000 during the Christmas period. All right, those numbers are always good to see, and you want to see these numbers rising if you're a shareholder, right? So I'll also get into some of the things that Ivan would have mentioned at the JC conference. So I was fortunate enough to hear a little bit of his presentation. I should probably ask Renee to send me that screenshot of what he would have said, but let's finish the article first, and then we'll get back to it, right? So the company is focused on integrating resilient measures into its highway designs and address the impacts of climate change. It's not just about maintaining the road, it's about designing for the future. We're exploring ways to anticipate issues like potholes before they occur, and this was a big thing, apparently, talking about potholes. It's so strange to me that as a country, I think we're more concerned about the state of potholes than most things. It's very strange to me. But anyway, it was this, I guess, running joke at a conference, and I've heard it in other settings where persons care so much about potholes. But I mean, anyway, technological innovation is another avenue through which TransJamaica is looking to grow. The company plans to roll out a fully automated tap-and-go system for toll payments by year-end, allowing motorists to pay seamlessly. So I'm always for technological innovation, which causes companies to take payments easier, to reduce the number of cash that they have to handle, because the more cash you handle, the more security you need. The more security you need, the higher your cost, the less profit. The less profit, the less dividends. Less dividends makes Jermaine unhappy, right? So right now, well, that's talking about that. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'll pause there for a little bit. Yeah. So, okay. So I can pause there for a little bit, right? Let me see if there are any questions. So as I said, this is a night for questions. I'm not going to be streaming for long. So if you have questions, ask them now, because I'm going to share my thoughts. It's not really a lot to say on this topic. What I will say, it will be sassy persons concerned about the sale of these shares, and I'm not sure why, because what it does is allow you an opportunity to own more of the shares. So if you're already a shareholder, you have a chance to own more. And if you like the company, if you like the, so they're not adding any new shares here. So that's a key piece, right? So the same number of shares that were outstanding before, same number of shares will be outstanding now, right? Which is important. It means your dividends aren't going to be impacted, right? So if whatever dividends they were able to pay before, they're still able to do that. What it means though is that that $10 billion stake is now going to be available to the public. Now, I do imagine that, like pension funds, institutions will try to mop up a lot of those shares, but still it means for the everyday investor, for you and me, we have an opportunity to own more of the shares, right? That's the major benefit that you want to see here. That's what you want to focus on. TransJamaica has been up 300% in the last few years, and they've been heading in the right direction, right? Meaning lowering their expenses, increasing their revenues. That's a great recipe for a dividend investor, all right? So it's not going to be an APO. I see some persons are a little confused because they're like, they're listed already. So any offer is going to be an additional public offer. That's not the case, right? So an existing shareholder, in this case, NROC, will be selling the 20% stake that is from the government, and that will be available to the public for purchase, right? I don't know how they'll do the pricing. They may just look to see what it's trading for and do something. That's what you can expect. It's likely going to be at some reduced price than the market price, but it depends on how it's trading. Because as I've mentioned before, these things are done months in advance. So let's say the price is $4.20 now, and they set up the offer based on this price. By the time the document is made public, the price may be higher or the price may be lower. I know we all would want the price to be lower when it's an offer like that, but it really depends on how long it takes and where the company is in its cycle, right? Because if it's close to a dividend announcement, the price may not be so low, right? So I think it presents for some interesting opportunities for TransJamaica because it's already so liquid, right? I think the liquidity may actually bode well for it. I think that volatility is always a good thing for companies with strong sentiment, right? I'm getting a phone call now. I'm not sure who's calling me. If you're calling, if you're watching the stream and you're calling me, then I can't return the call because it's a private number. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because it's already so liquid. So that liquidity, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. I'm gonna have to think about that some more. Do I want to have the opportunity to own more shares in TransJamaica? I think that's a very obvious question there, right? So with more liquidity, now you think investors will gravitate more to TJH in terms of swing trading? I mean, they're already doing that. I don't see that it's a gravitate more. TransJamaica is the most talked about stock on the stock exchange. That's not even a wild stretch to say, right? I think we have more shareholders of TransJamaica than any other stock, if I'm not mistaken. Probably NCB probably close in terms of ownership, but yeah. Yard is asking when will a TransJamaica IPO happen. So an IPO can only happen once. So it will be likely an offer for sale. So it's not going to be a rights issue. It's not going to be an APO, but an offer for sale. So an existing shareholder is making shares available. So it's not an IPO because they're already listed. All right. Dijonay. Start investing would now be a good time to buy TransJamaica shares. Dijonay, the answer to that question is join our investment challenge. That's the best way I can answer that question. Yeah. So So Antoine saying, will this live be uploaded? Antoine, you're watching from YouTube. There's no upload required. It's already on YouTube. It will always be on YouTube, and so on. All right. So Adrian says, I saw this news yesterday. I would like to know is pricing. So pricing is going to be, as I said, will likely be set at a certain point. We don't know what the price will be. Now, they may do an assumption that the price is going to be steady for a while. And so they may set it at like a price maybe slightly below $4. We don't know, right? It's too early to assume what that will be. And I'm not necessarily concerned about the price because it's many factors go into the price, right? Christopher is asking, would you try to buy on the market now or wait till the IPO comes out? That's a question for the community. So Christopher asked me that when we get in the community, I'll answer it there. Andrew Tate, with a huge dividend promised by TransJamaican this year, why would I sell? That is the question of the night, sir. That's the question of the night. Why wouldn't the government want to own more of a foreseeable, profitable company? I have so many answers to this. But I did ask myself this question, meaning it is clearly profitable. It clearly produces some good dividends for them every year. I'm not sure. Meaning to me, as a government, I would even own the entire toll road outright. Like I wouldn't even have let the ownership be to persons outside Jamaica. I mean, that's just my take, right? So that has always kind of perplexed me that we sell income generating assets as a country. So over time, my concern is we may not own much. But if no way the opportunity there exists for Jamaicans, right? So instead of the government owning it, Jamaicans owning it, I think that's actually better, right? And I think in this case specifically, that's what they're doing, right? So they're giving you every single Jamaican the opportunity to own shares, right? So it's actually better than the government owning it is you and me owning it. So I think that's actually not a bad thing at all. So Andrew Tate saying they're not getting diluted. Why are they fussy? I don't know. I don't know at all. It speaks to maybe a lack of understanding. Mo says lots of financial jiu-jitsu coming down over the pipe for the next. Oh my gosh, I like this. I smell tons of merger and acquisitions. I agree with you. I agree with you. For more than one reason. The government sold lots of good assets. Whoever said GOJ is so. Again, I agree with that. Meaning, if you own more income-producing assets as a government, it would actually benefit the country because then our tax burden wouldn't have to be so high, right? So that's just me, right? Sean says it's going to flood the market for sure, so someone needs to soak it up. Listen, I'll talk about my strategy in the challenge for sure. So TransJamaican needs to open the mandible leg before they drop these shares on the market. I hope they choose a good time. And no, listen, when the government mentions it, I'm giving that months, right? Because they mentioned it. Give it time. Give it time, right? So Limitless says, what if all the unmet demand is met with supply and more supply than the demand? This is my concern, if any, right? Because, and that's why I say it's interesting to see. Now, I'm happy about the fact that there are no more shares being created, right? So because no more shares are being created, I'm not overly concerned because I see TransJamaica as a purely dividend stock, right? Now, it's also been one of my top earners in terms of capital gains, but I'm investing in TransJamaica as a dividend stock. So because I'm investing as a dividend stock, I'm not concerned about more supply or anything like that. It will produce more volatility. More volatility isn't necessarily a bad thing if you know how to trade volatility. So that's why I'm not necessarily concerned here, Limitless, but that is a valid question, right? I think they're moving to list N.R.K.N.s. So if they're planning to list, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't see the reason to list N.R.K. here. Why people are complaining about the government offering shares to the public? Yeah, it is a great opportunity for sure. What if the offer for sale comes out lower than current market price? Then it's a no-brainer, sir. What do you mean? I don't understand. Limitless love asking some obvious questions. You know? I think they just want me to talk about it because Matthew, I think you know the answer. Would it be nice to give preference to existing stockholders, say 20% discount? It will likely be discounted. I don't see them being able to give preference to existing stockholders because it's not going to be like a rights issue. If it was a rights issue, then that's where the preference to existing stockholders would come in. So I'd say no here. I'd say that's not likely to happen. I think it will certainly be discounted if the sale comes at a lower price than market is good for me. You guys aren't seeing the big picture here. You're not seeing the big picture. All right, let me check Instagram. It's just some random guy saying hopefully more dividends. I mean, more dividends always a good thing here. Sean is asking, so you have no concerns about the issuance? I probably missed it. I can't have concerns about what I haven't fully been able to assess. So I haven't seen the offer, but just off face value, the government selling their shares, I don't know why I'd be concerned about that. I do think that volatility presents opportunity. And as I said, for me personally, I look at TransJamaica as a pure dividend investment. So because it's a dividend investment for me, there's no impact to my dividends here, if anything. So here, look at the potential downside here, Sean. Let's say what Limitless says, where potentially you have more supply than demand, and so shares go all the way down. Let's say the shares go down to $3.50, $2.50. How can that be a bad thing? I'm not seeing the downside. I'm not seeing the downside, because that would actually increase their dividend yield. If it increases the dividend yield, and persons who are investing in TransJamaica for the long term, for their retirement, can own more of it, it will actually make it more attractive. So even if it goes down, it's not going to stay down for long, because now the dividend yield is going to go back close to double digits based on what the current price would be. So I'm not seeing the downside there. Not seeing the downside, right? It's literally all upside based on what I've heard so far. Off at $4 and the market price at $5, then the price would drop to $4. Then if the share price moves up to $5 on good news results, yes, sir. So yeah, let me take any questions here. I'm gonna read the second article because we're gonna wrap this up shortly and then go to our community group. So as I said, guys, 130 people here. I hope you're all community members. So I'm gonna invite you to join us. We're gonna continue the conversation over there. But let me bring up the other article now and see if there's anything new. There's not likely to be anything else because it's so early. But let's look at it just in case. I see it's some random guy saying it's an election move, I think. Maybe, but I can't see that being a thing. But I mean, maybe why not? When will the next dividend pay out, and will they give dividends every quarter instead of only 2 times? Tamara Kind, I'll answer that in the community as well. I think that's a great one to get into. Lovin said the level of excitement I had when I read about this today, if you know, you know. I'm like, again, I'm just not seeing the downside. Maybe I'm short-sighted. Maybe I have a bias here. I'm seeing a bias here. Maybe, I don't know, but it's hard to see the downside. So Would they consider a split then offer for shares? I would not want a stock split though for them. I would not want us. If anything, they need to do a share buyback. I would not recommend a stock split for them. I don't think you guys appreciate how many shares they have out. Let me see. They have 12 billion. That's billions with a B. 12 billion shares outstanding. Why would a stock split be a thing? No, thank you. Do not split my stock. No, thank you. If they want to buy back, let's say they want to buy back, well, it wouldn't make sense. But if a buyback would be better than a split, all right? TransJamaica definitely gonna give careers a run for their money, believe me. Well, I mean, consider I'm not a career shareholder. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. The community members should know if they've been doing the exactly. All right. And the challenge community members, y'all, everybody should know what's happening here. So let me read the other part of the article here and see what we can glean from this, if there's anything new. So the investments will be done. So this part I saw here as well, a reduction in the rate of tax on dividends. This is its own video, right? Because I saw this and then again, I just had to smile. As a dividend investor, not paying GCT or a reduction in GCT on my dividends would be, I would approve, certainly. All right, so I'm not reading because I've read most of this already and they're not saying anything new here. All right, okay. Oh, so meanwhile, Port Authority of Jamaica will be divesting its BPO assets through a public offer for sale by the JSC. Personally, I'm not interested in any BPO assets, but I'll see. Again, I'll wait until the offer comes out, but I'm not sure I'd be interested in that. But let's see, right? I always say it's better to see the offer first. The PAJ is transferring its outsourcing assets to a new entity referred to as NewCo for now, which will eventually be listed on Jamaica Stock Exchange. Okay, let me cover this in another video. Okay, so that doesn't seem to be about TransJamaica, the rest of that, right? Okay, so I don't think it's an election move because people voting not. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. Why what more? Why are you asking? Why are you asking why? Or why are you saying why? Okay, final call for questions. So persons asking about BPO assets, I'll cover that in another video. All right. That would be best. I don't want to stray too much in terms of what I'm talking about here. So guys, I'll talk about the BPO stuff another day. All right. So let me see if there's any other questions. Final call for questions, guys. I'm going to share the link to our community. So for those of you watching on Instagram, the link is in our profile. For those who are watching on YouTube, the link is in the description of the video. If you're already a community member, just go and join. Sean is asking if there's anything about TGH I want to share. I do have things about TGH that I can share, but not right now. This is going to be a 30-minute video. So when the time comes, but I am hoping to, I did see Ivan this week. I did remind him that we're due for an interview. And so let's see how soon that happens. All right. All right, everyone. I'll see you in the community group. And again, congrats to Fontana shareholders. I'm very happy for you. Now, I will say to Fontana shareholders before I go, be cautious right now because, yeah, I'll just say be cautious. Be happy and be cautious is what I'll say. All right. All right, everyone. So I'll see you in the next video.
Learning is the key to successful investing. And who doesn't want to invest in some way?
Here at L.E.A.R.N, Grow, Invest, we focus on financial education, all with the aim of sharing our knowledge on personal finance, investing, and building wealth. We do this on the foundation of our faith in God.
If a more holistic approach is what you need, check out our Grow Faith-based financial coaching program.
Find out more about us at learngrowinvestclub.com
and follow us on all social media platforms at L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest.